Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing my May wrap up. And I read a lot in May. I started a lot of books in May and I'm still reading some of them. Well, did I? Oh no, I finished a few of them in June, but that will be my June wrap up. But let's just jump into it. I read 16 books and I was reading 20, but well, not currently reading, but I read 16 books. I don't know why I'm jabbering on about it, but oh well. So my first read that I read was The Lies of oflokmora by Scott Lynch, and I borrowed this one from Lydia M, Hannah, who's my flatmate, and I didn't like it to begin with. I actually really struggled, but the more I read, the more Locke as a character I found really interesting, and the way he never really learned from his mistakes. I found that quite fun, and I like Scott Lynch's writing style, and I ended up giving it 4 stars. Thought it was fabulous. Will be carrying on the series. Not sure when, but I will definitely be carrying it on. Then the second one was Northwind by Gary Paulson. I gave this 3 stars. It was a middle grade following a young boy on this journey downriver away from a plague that kills off his entire village, and he's in a canoe, and it's a really lovely middle grade, but I read it after reading Frostheart by Jamie Littler, and I loved that series so much. And it has a lot of similar... no, it doesn't really. It's a polar fantasy of a young boy trying to find his place in the world. It's fine. I gave it 3 stars. It was okay. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. So then I read Artemis by Andy Weir, and I was a little bit afraid to read this one because I'd heard mixed things about this online. A lot of people didn't like it. But I quite enjoyed it, you know, I like Jazz as a main character. Again, Andy Weir writes these really witty characters, and I don't know, I just really enjoyed this. This follows Jazz, who is a smuggler on the moon. Artemis is a space colony on the moon, and Jazz finds her way smuggling to try and earn money because when she was a teenager, she blew up her father's workshop, and that's how they make money. They have trades, and Jazz is responsible for causing her father a lot of debt, and so she's trying to make a certain amount of money, and then she takes on a job for a billionaire that comes with a lot more than just money, and it causes her a lot of trouble, and it's essentially that. And I really enjoyed it, but it was fun. Next was possibly one of my favourite reads this year, and that is The Deathless Girls by Kieran Millward Hargrave. I really liked Julia and the Shark from the same author, and this was fantastic. This was sapphic vampires, and I enjoyed the character development so much. And I don't know, I loved that it's kind of taken inspiration from Dracula, but also Vlad the Impaler stuff, and I don't know, I've really got on with it. It's stunning, it's gothic, it's sad, it's beautifully written, and it's following the lives of 2 twin sisters whose lives gets turned upside down when they're sold into slavery. And yeah, this book made me cry. Yeah, 5 stars, no doubt. Loved it. Pick this one up. It's stunning. Stop waiting. Pick it up. Then the next one that I read was weirdly... Well, I was shocked. I was blindsided. And I read Year of the Reaper by Micaiah Lucifer, and this is the Fairy Luke book for December last year, I think. And I wasn't expecting to like this one. I wasn't expecting anything from it, to be honest. I really enjoyed it again. I gave it 4 stars, and we follow, what's his face?
Yes, Cassia or...
Cass. And he is a lord in this kingdom, and there's 2 kingdoms that are at war, and he was captured by the enemy side. And basically there is a plague that is running across this world, and it kills nearly everyone, but does it. And he goes back to his home city after being captured and enslaved, and after escaping because basically everyone in his slave camp got the plague. So did he, but he survived it. And he comes back home, and it's been taken over by the king and the new queen. And the new queen is the queen of the... Well, it's the princess of the kingdom that they were at war with, so the people who had Cass captured. And there's lots of plots, and basically Cass saves the life of the new prince, and it kickstarts from there. And I'm not going to say anything else because I think it will spoil it, but I had a really good time with this very loot book, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It was fabulous, great fun, and this edition, beautiful. Then I read volumes 2 and 3 of Rat Queens, and that was The Far-Reaching Tentacles of Narigoth and Demons, and that follows the D&D crew, and I really enjoyed both of those. They're a fun graphic novel series, high fantasy, and if you're into D&D, you'll probably love them. They both got 4 out of 5 stars. Just, the art style was fantastic too. Then I listened to, on audio, Upright Women Wanted by Sarah Gailey, and this one was really interesting. It was really short, and it was basically a dystopian set in the Wild West. And it was a crew of, like, librarians, but they're not librarians, and it's a great LGBTQ plus story. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, and I gave it something. And I gave it 3.5 out of 5. It was fine. It was very short. I kind of wanted more from it, but I liked the main character. I liked the kind of constant peril this troupe of librarians were in because of their sexuality and the smuggling of their sexuality out of certain cities. So definitely go and give that one a listen. It's on Scribd and it's really, really short. Then I read Rainbow Grey and Rainbow Grey, Eye of the Storm by Laura Ellen Anderson, and these ones were interesting. I gave them both 3 stars. There's nothing particularly wrong with them. They're just, I felt like these read very young, like younger middle grade, which is nothing wrong with that. And I went in knowing that these were not really marketed towards me, but I did have a good time with it. I think Rainbow Grey is a great character. I think the messages in this is great, and yeah, I think I expected more from it because I've been enjoying middle grade recently, but that isn't the book's fault. But it follows Rainbow Grey and her 2 friends, and Rainbow Grey starts off the book with no magic, and it's basically Rainbow Grey learning to accept herself, but also going on these quests and adventures, and she gets into trouble, and the repercussions in this, like there are repercussions, and I kind of enjoy that. I think I enjoyed the first one more than the second one, but I think both were a lot of fun. So if you have kids, I definitely think they'd enjoy these. Then Bookopoly was on, and I read for that Bitter by Akwaeke Emezi, and this is the prequel to Pets, and I very much enjoyed this one. I gave this one 4/4.5 out of 5. I think it's a beautifully written story. I think Akwaeke Emezi is a fabulous writer. I've actually just bought Freshwater because I really want to read more. I basically want to read this author's backlist, and it's stunning. And I really enjoy Bitter as a character, and it really makes sense to what happens in Pets, and it gives a lot of context to how the world gets to that place in Pet, and I just really love the character like progression, and I just think it's a beautiful story. And also this cover is also stunning, which also doesn't hurt. I then read Saga Volume 2 on Scribd, and I gave that 4 stars. I love the story of Saga. It is wild. I can't even begin to kind of summarise what Saga is about, but it's a sci-fi adventure, and we follow forbidden lovers essentially, and it is wild, but it is highly enjoyable, so I definitely look that up if you haven't already. I then read Darkwood, which is another one that I borrowed from Hannah, and this one is fabulous. Darkwood by Gabby Hutchinson Crouch, and I gave this one 5 stars. It was so much fun. It is a middle grade it's middle grade. It's 100% middle grade. Older middle grade maybe, but it's in middle grade. And this is a kind of fairy tale retelling, and it is completely ridiculous. There are so many jokes, and they're all laugh out loud funny, and I'd heard some of them before because Hannah was reading it and, you know, telling me a lot of them. But when I read it for myself, they were equally as funny. There was no, like, changes to that. I really enjoyed I really enjoyed it. I thought they were hilarious. So you follow basically Gretel, as in Hansel and Gretel, and her journey through the woods. And she lived in this village where, you know, girls aren't allowed to do maths because that means they're witches, and the whole kingdom is kind of under these ridiculous rules by the huntsman. The woods have got like magical creatures in them, and it's just really funny. And they think Gretel is a witch, and she finds sanctuary in the woods with a group of people. It's found family. It's just beautiful, and I just found it so funny, and I can't wait to continue on with the series soon. I then read Rules for Vanishing by Kate Alice Marshall. I gave this 5 stars. I originally heard about this from Beth from Books Nest, and it was the creepiness from what Beth was saying about this that made me pick it up. This is exactly what I want from a ghost story. This gave me everything and more. It was creepy, it was spine-chilling, it was weird, and like time was played around. It is told in like this interview style format, and it follows Sarah, who knows that her sister went missing a year ago, and she believes she's still alive because there's a local urban legend of a girl called Lucy Gallows who went missing on the same night in the woods. And yeah, it's weird and spooky, and it's essentially the journey of teenagers going through the woods, and it gives me Until Dawn vibes, you know, the video game, which is kind of creepy too, and you never really know if it's real or not. And this is just weird and it's spooky, and I love this cover because I don't know if you can see that. Yes, you can. The girl on the cover, like, it's just creepy, and there are so many rules obviously within this world on this road, because it's a phantom road that appears once every year on a certain night. A group of friends recounting the story to investigators, and it unfolds, and the twists and the turns, and there's text messages. Like, it's amazing. Oh, I still have my bookmark in here. How weird. I really enjoyed this book, and if you like a ghost story, if you like a horror, I can definitely recommend this one to you. 5 out of 5 stars. Another book that I have subsequently given away is Wicked Fox Gumiho by Cacho, and I gave it 3 stars. It was fine. I enjoyed the Korean mythology. I thought that was super interesting because I don't know much about the Nine-Tailed Fox legend, and I found out a lot, which was really interesting, and I liked the characters, but it gave me massive Twilight vibes, and that was just the way the 2 main characters talked to each other and made decisions. I just got those Edward and Bella vibes, but like gender bent Edward and Bella vibes. It's just like, you're at high school though, like, is it really that deep? And I kind of just like, can you guys just get over it and just like kiss already? And that was kind of like my whole big deal. Like, it was fine. Then the last book that I finished was In the Ravenous Dark by A.M. Strickland. And I gave this one 4.5 stars. Beautiful pansexual vampires. And you know what? It was fantastic. But the reason it dropped half a star is because the first half of the book and the second half of the book felt like different stories. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I enjoyed the blood magic, and I thought that was a super interesting take on vampires. And then when she actually becomes a vampire, spoilers, sorry, it kind of felt like a different story. But I loved the LGBTQ rep in it. I thought that was top tier, brilliantly done. And I loved the writing style, and I actually listened to this on audio, and I really, really enjoyed it. So that was a lot of fun. And I think I'll be picking up more of A.M. Strickland because I enjoyed it a lot and I thought it was beautiful. So yeah, this is some of the 16 books I read. Some were on audiobook, some were borrowed, some I've already gotten rid and gotten off my shelves, but I'm very pleased that I read all of these. I had a really good reading month. I haven't been doing a TBR recently because I haven't wanted to feel trapped by my TBR. So hopefully I'll be bringing that back for August and September. But for the foreseeable, don't expect a TBR from me because I'm really enjoying the freedom. So If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe down below. If you've read any of these books, leave me a comment, let's get chatting, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks guys, bye!